I.S.S. is a 2024 sci-fi thriller, directed by Gabriella Copperwaite and written by Nick Shafir. It stars Ariana DeBose, Chris Messina, and Pillow Asbach. Tensions flare in the near future aboard the International Space Station as conflict breaks out on Earth. Reeling from the events, the US and Russian astronauts receive orders from the ground to take control of the station by any means necessary.
Hey guys.
Wait a minute, what the hell is going on down there?
Oh, whoa.
We gotta get out now, guys. Let's get out.
Oh my God.
So I know that this movie is just not gonna work for everyone. For one, nobody ever seems to agree on anything anymore. But I know that some of the things in this probably won't work for some people, especially depending on your age group. But for someone like me who grew up in the 80s and remembers very well the Cold War era and just the fear that we had of Russia. And even since the Cold War, we have never really been completely out of a Cold War with Russia. And so this just feels like such a real situation that could actually happen. And so it really, really works for me. The idea, the concept alone just really works for me. And so I didn't really pick this movie apart. I'm sure if I had looked at it through a critical lens, I could have come up with some flaws, maybe some plot holes, I'm not sure. But I really, really, really enjoyed this movie. It's just so well done. It wastes no time getting going. It's a cool 90 minutes. And I mean, basically within a few minutes of the movie, you're already in it. It's going. And the way it builds tension, the way it sets up characters, I don't know exactly how it did it, but it made me care about these characters, even though I know very little about them. I think a lot of it is the performers involved. They all feel believable to me. They all feel like real people in this situation, and they do give just enough, at least for me, that I felt the weight of it. I really felt like these are real astronauts, and I could just put myself into this scenario. And I just don't get scared by movies anymore, and I wouldn't say this is a scary movie per se, but what I do still feel is tension, high tension, that keeps me on the edge of my seat, that keeps me just, rooting for people or really just like bated breath on what's gonna happen next, just really nervous or whatever. I do feel that kind of stuff for movies, but I still don't feel that even that often, especially with as many movies as I watch. But this one really did it for me. I mean, I was really invested in this movie all the way to the end. There was never a point in this movie where I was looking at my watch or I just literally could not take my eyes off of it. It's one of the first movies in a while where I had to go pee and I didn't want to go. I just sat there and dealt with it because I was so involved in this story, in this movie. I also really like that it took some choices and was bold. There isn't a good guy versus bad guy per se. Nothing is exactly that cut and dry, as well as the way they dealt with the politics of it, because I was worried about going in this and it's going to be us versus them, or it's going to be really politically driven or any of that with an agenda in mind. It didn't feel that way, at least to me at all. I felt like it was very much just putting this story of a real world kind of situation and what it would feel like to be in the middle of this. But it gets pretty savage and pretty brutal at times as well. Now, I'm not saying it's super gory or anything like that, but just as far as it doesn't cut away, it feels impactful. It feels, aggressive in the way it shows these characters and what they have to do. And the way that it's shot, it's gorgeously shot. The way space looks, it looks really believable. The way the ship looks, I'm not exactly sure how much of this is CGI, how much is not. And that's what I love to say because it doesn't feel super CGI, at least not to my old eye. I didn't pick up on a bunch of CGI at all. I know there was a few things here and there, but it felt real, and it was very impressive on how it dealt with weightlessness and just the element of being in space. This whole movie is in a real setting. It's not one of those futuristic worlds where everybody just walks around in the space shuttle. There's no, gravity or anything like that. It's supposed to take place now. It's not really that much of a sci-fi movie other than the fact that this is fiction. So it's not like a real situation. This isn't really something that happened. But other than that, it's not really sci-fi. But it very much is a thriller and a really on the edge of your seat, intense thriller. But the whole cast I thought was just brilliant in this. They all just do such a good job of feeling like real people And like I said, it doesn't give you a lot of backstory. And so it's extremely important that they deliver and that they give you these emotional performances, that they feel like real people. They didn't feel scripted and wooden. Everybody feels like real individuals. But I just can't get over how clean and precise and really matter of fact this movie is. Like I said, it's 90 minutes and there doesn't seem to be a single wasted second. This movie from beginning to end is just very compact, very in your face, telling this story. And it's interesting to me as well, because when I heard the premise of it, I was kind of like, how are they gonna fill a whole entire movie with this? I thought it was gonna have that slasher thing that you'll see sometimes in slasher movies where it's rinse, repeat. It's like, you know, the same thing happening over and over. It's this villain stalking people, killing them, rinse, repeat. But they found a way to keep it interesting and never really felt at all that it was rinse, repeat. There are all these different things that happen that are all involving this situation. And the way they show Earth and atomic bombs that have gone off, it never goes down there. You never get out of the point of view of what these astronauts can see. But they are able to somehow really make it feel so impactful, just seeing the Earth basically burning. And just, I thought it did as good of a job of showing something like that as I've seen in a long time. It just felt terrifying. Like I said in the beginning of this, as someone that grew up in the 80s and always being scared of atomic bombs and of a world burning like that and just war in general, it just had a lot of gravity to it. It just really hit me hard. And I know that that's not going to work for everyone, depending on how believable you feel this scenario could be, or just how much you think this movie works in general. But I can only speak for me, and I really, really enjoyed this movie. I think it's so well put together. Like I said, it's well acted, directed, the cinematography is great. It's an interesting story, well written dialogue. I highly recommend it. I really do. It's in theaters right now. I know it's probably not going to get a huge buzz. It's a fairly small movie, but it deserves some love. It really does. And if you're looking for something to go see this weekend, definitely give it a look. I apologize about my voice. I'm still working on getting over a cold I just got, but I had to come at you guys and just give you my first reaction, first thoughts of this movie, because I'm really excited about it. You may not be able to tell because my energy level might be a little lower than normal, but it's because of this cold. But trust me when I say I highly recommend this movie. But that's it for me today. Thank you so much for checking this out. If you enjoyed this, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and ding that little bell, because that's the best way to keep track of this channel. And when I post videos like this, and I post videos like this every single week, I also want to give a huge, massive, enormous thank you to the Ghost Pirate crew, to you guys over on Patreon, and to the channel members over here. You guys absolutely mean the world to me. And if you would like to find out how you can help support this channel over on Patreon, there's a link down in the description. Or if you want to become a channel member and help support the channel in that way, there's a button right down there that says join. But like always, thank you so much for watching. Please crush that like button. And remember, guys, horror can be fun. And if you enjoyed this, click right here for another review of something I'll put there. I'm not sure what. And I'll see you guys next time.